Hi everyone, thank you for watching, thank you for listening. Another beautiful day here on the sunny side of Western Massachusetts. I just want to make a comment about what had occurred over in Chicago recently with the Donald Trump incident where he was forced to cancel his rally due to unruly protests from groups like MoveOn.org and Black Lives Matter. Now you have to understand that MoveOn.org and I also believe Black Lives Matter as well are funded by George Soros, who himself is a Nazi. Okay, so you have a Nazi funding these groups to protest a Republican, not only a Republican, but a non-establishment Republican, a guy who even Newt Gingrich admitted that he could not be controlled because he never taken the oath of the secret society or whatever it is that Gingrich was talking about. And of course, that makes a lot of sense given the fact that George Bush's brother, Jeb Bush, had received so many millions of dollars to run, but yet failed. Mark Rubio's receiving so much money to run, but he failed. Ted Cruz is receiving a whole bunch of money, but he's failing because the establishment are run by failures. They're failures. They can't do anything else but be a politician for their entire lives, because if they ever got a regular job and worked regular hours just like everybody else, they would not last, because all they want to do is sit in their offices all freaking day long and try to screw everybody else over. And that's what the establishment is trying to do. And they're scared, they're freaking out, because you got a guy in there who can't be controlled, and he's saying, you know what, enough is enough. And that's why everybody is freaking out over Donald Trump. Whether you hate him or you love him, it does not matter. It doesn't matter at all. It just is what it is at this point. Now you got groups like Black Lives Matter running around and basically threatening, and we're gonna shut you down. We're not gonna allow you to have any free speech, okay? You know, we don't care. I mean, yeah, we're gonna run around and say, you know, the police are beating us up and arresting us, and you know, our rights are being violated, and yet they're running around shutting down rallies, peaceful rallies at that. And then you watch freaking CNN, and you watch exactly what's going on there. They're not even showing you the whole event and what actually occurred. They're showing you, you know, bits and pieces to make it look like Trump supporters are the first to throw punches, when in reality what they're showing doesn't give you the whole picture. So they're totally trying to screw Mr. Trump up. They're out there trying to screw his supporters up, and then you got terrorist organizations like Black Lives Matter, like MoveOn.org, guys like Bill Ayers, who are right in the middle of it. And, you know, a little background with Bill Ayers. Bill Ayers was a terrorist for the Weather Underground movement back in the 60s and 70s that actively went out and blew up government buildings, offices. He comes at you as if he's a liberal, as if he's a peace-loving guy who's anti-war. It can't be any further from the truth. Bill Ayers is not anti-war because he and his group are involved in the attempt of the overthrow of the federal government to try to install a communist dictatorship whose main goal is to round everybody up and re-educate everybody to their point of views. So we're talking about organizations that have absolutely no regard for anybody's individual rights, but then they'll run around all freaking day and say, well, their rights are being impeded and screwed over, and then they're, of course, doing the same thing, you know, impeding the rights of Trump and the rights of his followers, their rights of freedom of speech. So just keep in mind that the Black Lives Matter people, not every single one of them, not every single one of them, but the organization as a whole is run by terrorists. They are terrorists, and quite frankly, at this point, they're more dangerous than ISIS is right now. I mean, how do we know that ISIS isn't hasn't been infiltrated in this movement? How do we know, with all the people coming across the border, how do we know that the whole organization isn't being run by ISIS leaders? The people from Black Lives Matter and the people from MoveOn.org, of course, as I said earlier in this video, are funded by George Soros, who himself was a Nazi. George Soros himself is a terrorist. He funded the group that overthrew the Ukrainian government, and now Ukraine is a puppet state of the United States. And in the rest of history at this point, the first thing we did was went in there and stole their gold. So these are the people that we're dealing with. Black Lives Matter is a terrorist organization. And that's how I'm going to end this video. Thank you. Take care. God bless.